Hey everyone, welcome back. Thanks for joining us. Today we've got a brand new story to share with you. So let's begin. 5 years ago, my life cracked right down the middle, a clear before and after. Growing up, I was the good son, the one who didn't cause trouble. My folks, Mike and Lisa, were proud, practical people who never had to worry about me. Good grades, home on time, stayed out of fights. I think they saw me as the perfect kid. My little sister, Cindy, wasn't like that. She was wild, brave, always pushing limits. Mom sighed a lot. "Why can't you be more like your brother?" she'd say. It didn't make me feel special, just like I could never mess up. Then came college and Sarah. She walked into our sophomore psych study group like a shot of sunlight. Loud laugh, bright eyes, hair always a bit messy, like she'd just come through a storm. I noticed her right away. Everyone did. But somehow, she noticed me too. I was quiet, liked books, better at listening than talking. She sat next to me the second time and nudged me during a boring talk about how our brains trick us. "Does this guy ever smile?" she whispered, grinning. I smiled back, but only when he gave us huge assignments. We clicked from there. Studying turned into late-night calls, walks around campus, coffee dates. She brought out a side of me I didn't know existed. Spontaneous, adventurous, even a little crazy. We'd sneak into art places, drive to random small towns just to eat at diners with funny names, dance in my dorm room at 2 a.m. to her old music. She said I calmed her down. I said she made me feel alive. After 2 years, it was serious. The kind where you talk about furniture and renting a place. I'd just gotten a starter job at a tech company downtown. Sarah was working part-time at a marketing place and finishing school. We started looking for apartments. Cheap ones, yeah, but with enough space for both of us and maybe a cat. My parents weren't thrilled about us living together before marriage, but they didn't fight me. They liked Sarah. Maybe not as much as they liked my old debate partner. Susan, Mom still brings her up, but enough to smile when she visited and ask about her job. I remember one night, just a couple of weeks before everything fell apart. We were lying on her apartment floor after sharing a pizza, heads together, looking at the ceiling. "We're gonna be okay, right?" she asked softly. I turned to her. "Of course. Why wouldn't we be?" She looked at me for a long time. "No reason. I just want to believe that." I didn't think much of it then. Then came that day, the day that cut my life in two like a knife. I just finished a killer final exam, computer stuff. My brain was fried. My hand cramped from drawing diagrams. But I was happy. Semester was over. Time to celebrate. I texted Sarah as I left the classroom. "Done. Coming to you. Ice cream." No reply. I figured she was napping or still at work. I picked up her favorite treats from that little cafe near her place. Lemon bars. She loved them. Said they reminded her of summers back home. I let myself in with the key she gave me. The living room was dark, except for a bit of light from the hallway. "Sarah?" I called softly. No answer. I walked into the bedroom and saw her sitting on the edge of the bed, hands squeezed tight in her lap, eyes red and puffy. "Hey," I said, my heart sinking. "What's wrong? Did something happen?" She didn't look at me, just shook her head and whispered, "Sit down, Jake." My hands got sweaty. "What is it? Are you okay?" She finally looked up, and I saw the storm in her eyes. Guilt, pain, fear. "I have to tell you something," she said, her voice barely there. "I should have told you sooner. I was scared. I thought maybe I could just pretend it didn't happen, but I can't lie to you anymore." I felt like the walls were closing in. "Sarah, what is it?" She took a deep breath and then it all came crashing out. "I've been seeing someone else. His name's Gary. He's one of my work friends. It started 3 months ago." Time stopped. Everything after that felt like falling. Slow motion, no end. Couldn't breathe. That night, after Sarah told me about Gary, it felt like my chest had caved in. I must have sat in my car outside her apartment for over an hour, engine off, just staring at the dashboard. My brain kept repeating her words. Seeing someone else, Gary. 3 months. None of it felt real. We argued for hours that night. It was like trying to put together a broken mirror. Every time I thought we were getting somewhere, she'd twist it, say she felt alone, or that I'd changed, or that she didn't mean for it to happen. I kept asking the same questions, hoping maybe saying them again would give me an answer I could live with. "Was it just once?" I asked at one point, hoping like crazy. She looked away. "No, it wasn't." I remember physically pulling back, like her words were punches. "How many times?" She didn't answer, just buried her face in her hands. It was like someone had stolen my reality. Sarah, the woman who used to leave me sweet notes in my lunch, who cried with me when my dog died last year, who I thought I might marry, was now a stranger who'd been lying to me for months. I couldn't take it anymore. "I need time," I told her finally, my voice barely steady. "I can't do this right now." I left numb. I don't remember driving to Tom's, just that I showed up at his door, and the moment he opened it, I broke down. Tom, bless him, didn't ask questions. He just let me sit on the couch, handed me a beer and said, "Start when you're ready." When I finally told him everything, his jaw tightened. "Dude, that's messed up. You need to be done with her. Block her. Pack your stuff. Don't look back." I nodded, but it wasn't that simple. 2 years of love, laughter, shared dreams. It doesn't just turn off like a light. I spent a week on Tom's couch. Barely ate. Didn't shower for 3 days. He kept checking on me, offering to go punch Gary or mess with his car. But I just shook my head. I wasn't angry in that loud, fiery way. I was broken, empty, like someone had scooped me out. But eventually, the numbness started to burn, and I knew what I had to do. Trust is everything in a relationship. And ours was broken beyond repair. Whatever part of me wanted to forgive her, to fix things, couldn't ignore the truth. I couldn't believe a word she said anymore. So I went back to her place. I remember standing outside her apartment door, taking a long breath. I practiced what I was going to say. Keep it calm. Keep it clean. Don't drag it out. When she opened the door, she looked surprised, eyes darting, hands fidgety. "Hey," she said, voice thin. "I wasn't expecting you." "I know," I said. "Can we talk?" She stepped aside, and I walked into what used to feel like my second home. Now it felt cold, foreign. I sat on the arm of the couch. She stayed standing, arms crossed tight. "I've thought about everything," I began. "And I can't keep doing this, Sarah. I can't get past what happened. I don't trust you anymore." Her lips parted like she was about to speak, but I held up a hand. "I'm not here to argue," I added. "This is me saying goodbye." There was a pause, long and heavy, and then everything changed. Suddenly, Sarah's face flipped like a switch. Her eyes narrowed. Her face twisted into something I didn't recognize. "No," she said sharply. "No, you don't get to do this. You don't get to walk away after everything you put me through." "What?" I blinked. "Sarah, I'm the one who... You think you're some saint?" she snapped. "You don't even see what you do to people. You make me feel crazy, Jake. I started, but her voice only got louder. "You're so controlling, always judging me. I made one mistake, and you act like I'm evil." "That's not what this is," I said, trying to stay calm. "You lied to me for months." "You want to talk about lies?" she yelled. "You lied every time you said you loved me, and then you just show up here to dump me." Her voice was getting louder, hysterical. "Sarah," I said, standing slowly, hands out, trying to calm things down. "You're upset. I get it, but let's not." That's when she screamed. "He hit me!" she yelled, loud enough the neighbors probably heard. "Get out of here. You hit me." I froze. The blood drained from my face. "What are you talking about?" I said, stunned. "I didn't touch you." But she was already running out the door, still yelling, "He hit me." I just stood there, heart racing. I didn't understand. What was she doing? Within the hour, the police were at Tom's place, and suddenly I was being arrested. She had filed a report, said I got violent when she told me about the affair. I sat in the back of the police car, staring at my own shocked face in the window. None of it made sense. None of it felt real. And the worst part? I knew no matter what happened, a part of my life, my name, my soul was already stained. I sat in that cold, gray room, staring at the wall like it had answers. My wrists still hurt from the cuffs. The buzzing lights overhead echoed the pounding in my head. I kept saying it over and over to the officers. I didn't touch her. I swear to God, I never laid a hand on Sarah. But they didn't look convinced. They exchanged glances, asked me the same questions in slightly different ways. "Where were you standing? What exactly did you say? Did you raise your voice? Did she seem scared?" It all felt like a bad dream. When they said they were calling my parents, I actually felt relieved. I thought, finally, someone who knows me, someone who'll tell them this is a mistake. They showed up about an hour later. I heard their voices in the hallway before they came in. Dad's loud and sharp. Mom's quiet and shaky. When they stepped into the room, everything inside me crumbled with a bit of hope. But one look at them, and I knew something was already broken. My father's eyes narrowed, his jaw tight. "What the hell is going on here?" he barked at the officer. "Your son has been accused of hitting his girlfriend. We're looking into it." My mom's eyes filled with tears, but she didn't look at me. Not once. She just kept her eyes on the floor. "Dad," I said softly, "it's not true. I didn't do anything. She's lying." "You expect me to believe that?" he snapped. "After what I just heard from the officers?" I looked at my mom. "Mom, please. You know me." But she just shook her head slowly. "I don't know what to believe right now." Those words hurt more than any punch ever could. I was let go the next day while they kept investigating. But everything had already started to fall apart. The university kicked me out. No hearing, no talk, just an email. Effective immediately, you are suspended pending the outcome of the investigation. My student account was locked. No classes, no dorm, no campus. Friends I'd studied with, laughed with, stayed up all night with, they started ignoring me. Group chats went silent. Some even unfriended me. A few sent short messages. Sorry, man, but I can't be involved in this. Hope it clears up, but I gotta step back. Only Tom stayed. Only he looked me in the eye. He stood in the kitchen one night as I sat on his beat-up couch, head in my hands. He handed me a bowl of instant noodles and said, "You don't have to convince me, Jake. I know you. This is bullshit. You're gonna get through this." I nodded, barely tasting the food. "It just hurts, man. Everyone's acting like they know something I don't." He shrugged. "They're cowards, and they don't deserve you." But the worst was when I tried calling home. My mom answered. Her voice was tight. "You can't call here anymore, Jake. Nom, please." I didn't do what she said. "You have to believe me. We can't have a woman beater in the family," my dad said, cutting in from the background. "We've changed the locks. Don't come back. Dad, we're done. Don't bring more shame on us." And then, click, gone. They disowned me just like that. My own parents, the same people who bragged about me at church, who put my good grades on the fridge. I later found out from Cindy, through a quick, secret message she managed to send from a friend's account, that she tried to stick up for me, told them I wasn't capable of violence. She said Dad yelled at her, said she was being manipulated, and Mom took away her phone and started watching her internet. Just like that, I lost her too. Weeks went by. The investigation dragged on. Sarah stuck to her story, but there were holes. Her timeline changed. Her details didn't match up. And most importantly, there was no proof. No bruises, no witnesses, no signs of a fight. Eventually, the charges were dropped. The detective called and gave the official word. Due to inconsistencies in the accuser's account and lack of physical evidence, the district attorney has decided not to pursue charges. It should have been a relief. It should have felt like justice. But all I could think about was what had already been taken from me, my future, my reputation, my home, my family, my name. The damage was already done. When I called my parents to tell them the charges were dropped, I thought maybe, just maybe, they'd listen, that the truth would be enough, that they'd hear the relief in my voice and realize they'd made a mistake. But the call felt like hitting a brick wall. "You probably just got lucky," my dad scoffed. "Or maybe the police didn't try hard enough," my mother added coldly. "Lack of evidence doesn't mean you didn't do it." "No," I said, my voice shaking. "It means I didn't do it. It means she lied, and they couldn't find anything to back her up because there was nothing." "I don't want to talk about this," my mom said, and the line went dead, and just like that, they were still gone. I was allowed back at the university technically, but going back was like walking through a minefield blindfolded. The campus didn't feel like mine anymore. Whispers followed me down the halls. People I once studied with avoided eye contact or moved away. A few professors greeted me with quick nods, the warmth gone from their voices. Even when no one said anything directly, I could feel it, the suspicion, the judgment. It stuck to me like a second skin. Once in the library, I reached for a book, and someone I used to hang out with, Mark, snatched his hand away like I was poison. "Hey, man," I said, hoping maybe he didn't see me. He glanced at me, hesitated, then muttered, "Sorry," and walked away. That was when I knew I couldn't stay. I spent weeks looking at other schools, figuring out money, talking to people at different universities. I found one across the country that took transfer students and had a good computer science program. Felt like a lifeline. When I told Tom, he didn't hesitate. "You need a fresh start, man," he said. "Whatever it takes. I've got your back." He helped me pack everything I owned, which wasn't much, and even lent me money for the deposit on a tiny apartment above a liquor store in a city I'd never been to. The place smelled like paint and old sadness, but it was mine. It was freedom. I changed my phone number, deleted everything from my old life. Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. I didn't want to be tagged, searched, or found. I wanted to disappear and start over. The next 2 years were some of the hardest of my life. I didn't know anyone. I didn't trust anyone. I kept my head down, focused on classes, worked part-time at a tech help desk, and sometimes cleaned offices at night. I missed holidays, ignored birthdays, and tried not to think about what had been taken from me. But I graduated. Somehow I got through it. A few months after that, I got lucky, a starter job as a programmer at a small tech company. It didn't pay much, but it was a chance. I threw myself into the work. People liked that I kept to myself and got things done on time. I made a few work friends, friendly faces, polite talks, but nothing deep. I couldn't let myself get close. Not again. Then, about a year ago, it happened. It was a Tuesday morning, one of those gray, rainy ones where the sky looks like a wet blanket. I went into my usual coffee place before work, hoping coffee would clear my head. It was quiet inside. Soft music, The hum of the coffee machine, the comforting clink of cups. I stood in line, looking at an email about a bug in the code, when I heard someone behind me mutter, "Ugh, forgot my wallet." I turned slightly and saw her, dark curly hair in a loose bun, wearing a green jacket with paint spots on the sleeves. She laughed awkwardly and said to the person making coffee, "Guess I owe you some coffee karma." The barista smiled but didn't budge. Rules were rules. I don't know why I did it. Maybe it was just a feeling. Maybe I saw something in her eyes, something tired, real. I stepped forward. "Hey, it's okay. I've got hers." She blinked at me, surprised. "You don't have to." "I want to," I said. "Just pay it forward sometime." She looked at me for a second, like she was trying to figure out if I was serious. Then she smiled. "All right, mystery man. You just bought yourself some good karma." That was how I met Anna, at a local coffee shop. Anna had this way of just being there. She was always in the same corner, right side, back table, closest to the window, headphones in, glasses slipping down her nose, surrounded by highlighters, notebooks, and medical books like a fort of knowledge. I used to wonder how someone could look that tired and bright at the same time. We started with nods. Then came shared smiles when the barista messed up both our orders, twice in 1 week. Small talk followed. "How's studying drugs treating you today?" I asked one morning. She groaned, rubbing her temples. "Like a mean old torture thing with fancy names." I laughed before I even meant to. Felt strange, like using a muscle I'd forgotten I had. "I'll stick to code. Thanks." Anna glanced at my screen. "Ah, so you're one of those mysterious computer guys. Explains the dark circles and always needing coffee." Guilty. That's how it started. Not dramatic, not like in a movie. Just two people talking over expensive coffees. Weeks turned into months. We started studying together, sometimes me fixing code, her memorizing how different medicines worked. She'd slide me one of her homemade granola bars with a wink and say, "Brain food." I started looking forward to seeing her in ways that scared me a little. After everything with Sarah, I didn't trust those feelings anymore. I didn't trust myself. But Anna never pushed. She noticed the walls I put up and never tried to break them down. She just waited patiently, kindly. Eventually, I asked her out. Not officially a date. Just two friends going to a street fair. We ended up talking for hours, looking at art, drinking from paper cups, and laughing like we didn't have hidden hurts. One night, as we sat on a park bench looking at the water, I knew I had to tell her. "I need to tell you something," I said quietly. She turned, all the teasing gone from her eyes. "Okay." "It's not easy," I admitted. My hands were shaking a bit, so I put them in my jacket pocket. "Back in college, there was this girl, Sarah. She accused me of something I didn't do, something serious. Anna didn't say anything. She just waited. I was cleared. The charges were dropped. But my parents, they believed her. They cut me off. The university kicked me out. I lost everything. Even now, they still think I did it." Silence stretched between us. My throat was dry, tight. I stared at the ground, ready for her to stand up, make an excuse, and walk away like so many others had. Instead, she said, "Jake, I believe you." I blinked. "You do." She nodded. Her jaw was tight, her voice low and angry. "I hate that you went through that, and I hate that no one stood by you, but I'm here, okay? I'm not them." I wanted to cry. I didn't, but I wanted to. She took my hand. It was the first time anyone had touched me with kindness, gently, deliberately, since before the nightmare began. Thanks for listening. This story isn't over yet, and things are about to get even more intense. Stay tuned for the next part to see what happens next.